Well, Season 1 has come and gone, and Season 2 of Hockey Ultimate Team has been dropped, and man, we have a ton to catch up on. So let's start by wrapping up the NextGen event. I gotta be honest with you, I was in the hospital. I was out of commission for essentially the entire second week of the NextGen event, which meant things came down to the wire. I was able to grind out just enough to not only get Michael Misa, as he is a San Jose Shark, but by essentially burning everything I had left down to about 7,000 coins, I was also able to grab Matthew Schaefer because I play all year long, and I wanted to grab Schaefer because I think that he is going to win the Calder and get boosted up to 99. So I'm pretty happy that I was able to somehow recover and grab both of those players. So after Season 1, this was my lineup heading into Season 2, and I loved it. The ability to get +7 overall with Celebrini, Misa, and Smith, obviously a blessing for Sharks fans, but it allowed me to use 3 top-end players that they released as Sharks with one of the better lines that I could put together. On top of that, the Beast Mode event dominated my lineup with 4 Master Set player items. I had a 5th built, but Barkov and Bedard, both with elite abilities, are just difference makers, and spoiler alert, learned my lineup in Season 2. And even my 4th line, the ability to get +4 overall, 10 million to the cap, and 9 AP, was just a really fun change of pace to how we build teams in Hockey Ultimate Team. It's not for everyone, it's just my opinion. It's so much different than what we've had in the past that I really can't complain. There are things they do need to improve, reward specifically, but from a team building aspect, I loved it. Paul Coffey essentially stayed on my team from start to finish on defense, and in my opinion was MVP of Hockey Ultimate Team for Season 1. I ended up with Roman Josi as my captain boost paired with Brendan Montour from the Faceoff event, and that Brendan Montour card felt like one of the fastest cards I used all year. And to round things out, I had Matthew Schaefer and Brock Faber with a +4 overall boost, and Brock Faber's card also in the discussion for MVP, because there is always one card from the first event of HUT where it just has an extreme longevity compared to the others. Brock Faber this year has been fantastic. In net, Pekka Rinne has been fantastic. And again, the 5 million and +4 AP was really the main driver of it. But like I mentioned, I loved my team, but I was excited to kick things off in Season 2 because everything went away. I'm not kidding. Literally half my team changed the second that Season 2 ticked over. So let's break down the current squad. My first line of Captain McDavid, Eric Lindros, and Nathan MacKinnon without any boost is still one of the better combos in terms of the lines you can put together. Nathan MacKinnon with 92 speed and Excel with elite wheels is just one of the fastest cards in the game. Eric Lindros with elite unstoppable is one of the most broken. Seriously, I stand by the fact, once you learn how to reverse check correctly, there is no more broken ability than unstoppable. And then Connor McDavid, one of the best skaters in the game, again, without any boosts at all. He was just an easy option to put back into my team because all of the line combos had reset. That is one of the big focuses that I would like to point out, is that when it comes to who you should go after and line combos, when it comes to the overall boost, I'm honestly just ignoring. Because if you think back to launch of the game, +1 overall just really wasn't that necessary. If there's something that you can put together, then absolutely go for it. But it isn't worth sacrificing a card that is far better for an inferior card just to get a +1 overall boost. This is going to change, obviously, once we get substantial boosts, and there are a few where you can get a +2 overall. But because we've gotten so many high-end cards with good skating and good shooting and great abilities, I just don't see a rush, especially early on. So I'm simply just putting my best lineup that I can together. The other thing I want to point out, and there'll be more on this later in the video, but I've actually switched all of my wingers to righty on the right, lefties on the left. I need to be very clear. There is no competitive advantage. In fact, I am losing games because I have done this, but maybe I have just hit the breaking point. I am too old now. I just want something that resembles something closer to actual hockey. And by your wingers being on their correct sides, it's forced me to cycle the puck more than ever because the one-timer isn't always there. On top of that, offense in this game has been some of the most satisfying, and the fact that you can actually pick a corner now coming down the wing on their short side, it is my favorite goal to score. So while there might be some games that I will give up simply because I am not going back to the opposite-handed wingers, which again, if you care about being super competitive, that is what you should be doing. I'm completely okay, and I'll ride it until I get sick of it. On my second line, Quentin Byfield from the face event, he checks back in, alongside Alexander Barkov, who again, Elite Unstoppable, just makes this card devastating, and honestly, my new favorite card, potentially. This card was good when you received a substantial boost. His skating is nothing special at 87 speed and 88 excel, but take a look at my stats with this card in ranked and champs. There is no offline. I did not play any offline games with Connor Bedard. I have 29 goals in 61 games. Elite quick release is absolutely absurd. And like I mentioned, when it comes to the scoring on the short side down the wing, this Connor Bedard card does it with ease. Absolutely love it. And I'm glad that I made all of the beast mode cards because I just kept him all the way powered up. My third line, we're going full icons. Joe Sakic, Fedorov, and Solani. Really no surprises here. They are just amazing cards, and the only reason that they came out of your lineup was simply due to line combinations as the season progressed. I don't really need to go over this anymore. Joe Sakic with Elite Quick Release. Again, just a phenomenal card, and anytime you can get Elite Quick Release activated, I think it's an absolute must. So Joe Sakic checks back in. And then my fourth line. So this is the only thing, in my opinion, that matters. Salary will be a problem, especially if you've been playing since launch of the game. So if there is a few line combinations that you look to activate, the triple American line is something that you absolutely have to put together. There are a ton of different options, but 7 million to the cap is just huge. Again, there are so many good combinations that you can do for salary, but this one is just by far the easiest. So I was able to throw Jack Hughes' marquee event back in with Larkin and Tage Thompson, two of the new MSPs. And I'll touch on what I'm going to do with the master set players in just a little bit. But easy fourth line for me to activate that 7 million to the cap. On defense, Paul Coffey is absolutely broken. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, that if you luck into a +1 overall boost, then obviously take it. Paul Coffey doesn't need one, but 95 speed at the reset makes him one of the fastest cards in the game, and nothing's changed. He is still, in my opinion, the very first card that you should chase after in Hockey Ultimate Team if you don't have Paul Coffey. The benefit here is that I have rookie Cale Makar paired with him, getting a +1 boost, an absolute no-brainer. And as you can see, I even have quick release on my defenseman. The other must-have line combo, in my opinion, is a Canadian and an American defenseman. Tons of options here. But Brock Faber and Matthew Schaefer at 10 million to the salary cap. Again, this is another one that you absolutely have to take advantage of if you are in salary cap problems. And then finally, my Season 2 captain, I went with Dmitry Orlov. I think Oliver Bjorkstrand is probably the best, but he is going to be replaced anyway soon, simply because I'm going to chase after an 88 overall captain, because I think it is super important to grab one of those. So Orlov goes in the team. He hasn't been great. In 19 games in my champs run, he was a -2. Did have a bunch of points, but not all that effective. And then we need to talk about Evan Bouchard. If there is a card that accurately depicts a player to a T, it is this Evan Bouchard. Defensively, he is awful. I got blown by a ton early on in my Hut Champs run, so much so that I almost took him out and powered him down for the Beast Mode Brendan Montour. And then I started using Rocket correctly. Again, I don't have my defenseman set up for one-timers. My fault, not the game's. But once I realized that I could just take shots while on my correct handedness on the right side, and it would go in clean, oh, and then it was just a ton of fun. In my last 5 games of Hut Champs, I ended up with all 5 of my points, and there was a game where I won 2-1 all because of Evan Bouchard and his slap shot. So a ton of fun, but man, is he brutal defensively. In net, I kept Pekka Rinne, and conveniently, there's a Nashville Predator and Dallas Star defense and goalie combination for 5 million to the salary cap. I made all 10 of the Beast Mode Master Set player items, so in went Jake Ottinger. Again, perfect event and format for Master Set player items. I don't need to have the maxed out Jake Ottinger. I'm allowed to keep him at 81, and it allows me to stay under the salary cap. This has been my team build for my entire Hut Champs run, and what do you know? I went 12-8, which is almost exactly what I do, give or take a win or loss, every single week, and I had far more fun doing it because I had my lineup set up in a way that was more entertaining to me. Again, this will come to an end, and I will go on a losing streak because of it, and I'll get frustrated. I'm too competitive. I know that's going to happen, but I've been at it for so long, and sacrificing having fun while you're playing for the sake of winning, that's getting old. So if you're like me, maybe give it a shot for a few games. You have to play differently because it forces you to cycle. And honestly, if you're a brand new player, I'd actually recommend it because, again, it forces you to look for open moments that you normally wouldn't look for and players that are impatient with the puck, it forces you to hold on to the puck more in the offensive zone because you don't have anything open. You don't have those lanes cut right to the middle that are easily stopped or one-timers that are easily covered. You've really got to work with it. So I've loved it so far. It won't last, I'm sure, but give it a shot. All right, so now let's get into where I'd recommend starting off in Season 2. First things first, if you have not collected your ranked rewards from Season 1, all you've got to do is play one game, either Hut Champs or Ranked, and you will unlock all of the packs from the prior ranks that you've automatically started in. If you started in Gold 1 or above, you'll be reverted back to Gold 1, and you'll earn all of those packs from prior. If you started in Silver 1 and that was the furthest you made it, well, you'll earn all the Bronze packs. This is something you immediately want to do because it is a big abundance of packs that we honestly don't ever get in NHL 26. And I actually had a pretty good pull. You'll get a ton of stuff to exchange and trade in, so this is definitely where you want to kick off Season 2. All right, next we need to discuss the XP path. So our new XP path has been released, which will have us trying to chase down William Nylander's 91 overall once we get to tier 55. And to be honest, we can argue about the abilities. I don't think Ankle Breaker, even at Elite, is all that impactful. I'd much rather have Quick Release. With that being said, 91 speed and excel with 95 agility, a great shot, almost maxed out hand stats. This is a phenomenal card, and definitely one that if you're able to, I would try and complete before January 15th when Season 3 kicks off. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is the account-bound Choice Pack XP Path player items. You'll receive your first one once you get 250 XP. It's the first thing that you unlock. Now, this season, we've got Simon Edvinsson, Samuel Montembeault, Lucas Raymond, Juraj Slafkovsky, and Chris Tanev that we're all able to get for free. You'll get all 5 by completing the XP path, but you'll also receive enough tokens, 15 in total, to get one of them up to 89 overall, which in my opinion is really impactful. It's a free 89 overall card just for completing the XP path. However, something that was pointed out to me by a viewer early on in Season 1 was that making additional tokens might be the play for our collectibles. In the Season 2 XP Path collectible sets, the very first option is an S2 XP token. These are the tokens that you use to upgrade the XP Path player items. Again, you need 15 in total. If you trade in 5 collectibles, you will get an XP Path token, meaning that you need 75 XP collectibles from the XP Path to get enough to max out an additional 89 overall XP player item. Now, for anyone that does not realize why that is advantageous, well, because you don't lose any of the tokens when you power down a player and switch to a different one. So, for example, I actually think Simon Edvinsson is one of the better options early on. It's 6'6", 222, 88 speed, 87 excel, 91 agility. He's got a good shot, 93 defensive awareness, and 94 stick checking. He also gets stick 'em up. So if you are able to finish the XP path, throw your 15 tokens in here, if something comes out that all of a sudden Chris Tanev is now powered way up because of different new line combos, well, you're able to put those 15 tokens into this Chris Tanev, and now you've got an 89 overall that better fits your lineup if new line combos come out to benefit that player item. Now, why it's advantageous to make 15 additional ones is because then you can have 2 in your lineup, any 2 of these 5, at any point during the game. And I think that's what I'm going to try personally in Season 2, if anything, just to test for the rest of the community. There was a moment in Season 1 where if you had Will Smith all the way maxed out, he was one of the best line combos, but you could have also used Vince Dunn to get a pretty impactful one with the Seattle Kraken, but you could only choose one if you didn't use any of your collectibles to build additional tokens to have 2 maxed out at the same time. So here is what I'm going to do. If you go all the way to the 19th tier, you will unlock enough collectibles and tokens that you can use to max out an 89 overall almost immediately, very early on in the XP path and the season. So once you get to 150,000 XP, if you haven't used your collectibles on anything, you'll have enough in here to make enough additional tokens on top of the ones that you will unlock from the XP path to max out, whether it's Lucas Raymond or Edvinsson, Tanev, whoever you want. But because I know that I'm going to make an additional one, I'm just going to save all my collectibles and rush for that, because having an 89 overall early on in the season, I think is a better, bigger advantage. Now, obviously, that might not apply to everyone. Honestly, the best part about the XP path is getting collectibles so that you can make different packs. I'll be honest with you, Season 1 was so underwhelming. The 81 overall choice pack, which was sort of the safest in terms of actually getting something that might be usable, whether it's just for an event, costs 40. You only get 170 total in the XP path, meaning you could only do this pack 4 times for the entire season. So far, what I've seen from people in my community, the 82 overall plus player for 15 collectibles, again, you could do this 11 times, but assume that you're going to pull an 82 overall. For real, guys, I would just hold on to your collectibles for as long as you can. One of these might become an absolute must make, and if you burn through all your collectibles almost immediately, you're kind of just left there, and there's nothing that you can do with the XP path once you've finished it. Now let's discuss what my first focus is going to be, and that's going to be my 88 overall captain. Now, the new captains that came out that we get for free, Dmitry Orlov, Neil Pionk, Oliver Bjorkstrand, and Sean Couture, they're all fine. However, the new 88 overalls, Tomas Hertl, Cam Fowler, Alex Tuck, and John Carlson, the major bonus here is that any of these 4 give a plus 10 AP bonus when activating with 6 players from the conference they represent. Now, the plus 10 also applies to any of the PWHL captains. However, how they work is you need 3 PWHL players in your lineup. And since I don't plan on using any PWHL players, it's the 4 NHLers that I'm going to focus on. Now, these cards are not super powerful because there is not a ton of overall boosting line combinations yet. John Carlson, essentially 87 speed, excel, and agility. He's really just 88 across the board. Elite Edges is fine this year, but it's not amazing. And 1T is not really necessary, in my opinion. Now, Alex Tuck does fit the line combination for a big salary boost because he's an American, if you want to go that route. Unstoppable is great, and Quick Pick is also very useful. But same situation, 87 speed, 86 excel, and agility. Unless he gets a massive boost in overall, the Sabres do have a couple, but more than +1, he is just not going to be an impactful skater. It's going to be tough to use him, and he's really built more like a centerman, but you have to play him on the wing. So my top 2 that I'm going to choose between, Tomas Hertl, obviously. 88 speed, excel, 90 agility is good. He's got 90 hand stats and 90 faceoffs. Now, Big Reagan, no contest. Again, not fantastic abilities, but he is built like a centerman and is a little bit quicker. His shot's nice. Hand stats are good. I just think that if I'm going to go forward, it would be Tomas Hertl. But unless something drastically changes, I'm probably going to go with Cam Fowler. 6'2", 213 with tape-to-tape and wheels, 88 speed and excel, 90 agility and balance. He's got a good shot for a defenseman, but the massive bonus with Cam Fowler at the start of Season 2 is if you pair him with another St. Louis Blue defenseman, you get $6 million to the salary cap. If you pair him with a Canadian Blues defenseman, that's $16 million to the salary cap. Oh, and since he is a captain and another Blue, that's $23 million to the salary cap. That's almost everything you need for a couple weeks into your team, and you can use whoever you want. And Cam Fowler is a pretty good defenseman card. Oh, and they also get +1 overall, again, when you combine 2 St. Louis Blues. However, the cost is quite high. You're going to need to trade in 2 86 overall captains, and Connor McDavid should be the first one that you make if you're brand new to the game. Making Connor McDavid's captain card, I think he's a great option and one of the best cards in the game. But I do have Roman Josi as well, which means I only need to make 1 more 86 to throw him in, and then 3 more additional 85 overall items, and I'll get Cam Fowler. If you haven't watched my card value guide video, I go through extensively the easiest way to make captains and how to get them pretty quickly by using your resources as low as like your 79 overall items. There's definitely an easy pathway that you can do that by using your untradeable cards if you want, and it really knocks down the price, so I'd go watch that video, but this is something that I'm going to focus on. Now, when it comes to ranked, I'm probably going to wait just a little while because everyone got dropped back down to Gold 1. There's another log jam while all of the top-end players have to build up through the ranked ladder again. So I'm just going to sit and wait probably for this week and let everyone kind of get further ahead before I start my climb. My focus and what I would recommend you to start as well is to go after the combo Nexus Master Set items, specifically Dylan Larkin. By completing all of the objectives and finishing all of the moments, getting everything for free that the game offers you, you're able to make a Master Set player item. This Dylan Larkin card is one of the best cards in the game. 93 speed, 94 excel, 93 face-offs. It's a card that I'm thinking about going after, even though I have his Team of the Week item. I really don't think that's necessary, and to be honest, his Team of the Week item, there is an argument that it's just better, but it is one of the best cards in the game, and you can get it for free. However, the same thing goes for this Tage Thompson. All-Star quick release, 88 speed and excel. There is some Buffalo line combinations that he fits into, his Team of the Week card is better at center, and obviously a little bit cheaper as well because it's only 86 overall and a slightly better skater. Don't really understand the stats on this one, but he is still one of the best cards from this event. However, my first focus might be Noah Dobson at 6'4", 90 body checking and defensive awareness. I do like stick him up. I think it helps the abysmal Poe checking still, but I'm just going to build up enough resources by doing the combo Nexus objectives to get enough collectibles to help make the cards required to make a master set player item. No matter what, even though Dylan Larkin is one of the best cards, if you wanted to make him and you don't have his Team of the Week, that's where I would start. I would recommend just waiting until Friday as well before you cash everything in, not just because we get all of the options, but because you'll use the stuff that you've already acquired from the Combo Nexus event in your lineup to smash out the Week 2 objectives, and these aren't going away until the end of the event, so something I would definitely recommend. Now, in Season 2, we did get Season 2 ranked objectives, so these are going to give you collectibles that will go into sets much like Cup Chase from Season 1, that will give you additional packs, and I'll have videos on which ones I would recommend once I start my ranked climb and kind of get a better sense from the community. However, I will try and smash out a few of Cup Chase runs, again, just to complete objectives for the event and Team of the Week, but as well to get the Cup Chase rewards. They have improved a little bit, not nearly enough, but this is where I would start, especially if you weren't a hyper-competitive online player. I would build a lineup with all of the cards required for objectives, whether that's Team of the Week or from the Combo Nexus event, and then I would do a Cup Chase run on the highest difficulty that you can so that you can work towards the objectives as well as those top-end rewards. If you can't do Superstar, do Pro. If you can't do Pro, do Rookie. Work your way up, but make sure you're accomplishing objectives while playing Cup Chase. Now, I didn't talk about the icons or heroes. I'll definitely do that in next week's episode. They're honestly not that crazy to chase after, and it's far more interesting to me to go after the captains and the players from this event. So I'll touch on that in the next episode because things might change once we get new line combos. As you know, if you've been playing since the start of the game, that changes everything almost immediately. Let me know your thoughts on Season 2, and I'll see you guys next episode. Have a good one.